are getting moved around, so
Yes, yeah. Me and David were talking about you. Yeah. So we are live. Hello.
Hello. How are
I
you?
You won't be able to hear him,
Yeah.
but
Well, I'm gonna get changed.
all right.
I'm gonna just shed and go into my bed.
Good deal. Oh, all right. So, you guys pick up anything new over the last week?
Well, I've gotten a couple of things, but I don't know if anybody really cares about Haya. But I got Crocmaster with his big
I
gear.
do.
that
Oh,
I
you
looks
care
do?
cool.
about Haya, and you're gonna have
Uh,
to send me a link to where you got that.
I definitely will. These are beautiful. The artwork is beautiful on these. I like them. There's not a lot of people getting Haya. I know you get Haya off and on, and I know Pat Stewart was getting Haya, and a couple of people bought out a couple of figures at Joe Fest this last year. I was trying to get the guy to go down on a Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and he
I
wouldn't.
remember
But
you talking about that.
two other people got them, and I was like, damn it.
Well,
I was
I
just looking at my Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow the other day.
Damn it.
well, welcome to Toy Talk, everybody. David, it's good to see you again. Terry, it's always good to see you. I had hit the mother hall of vintage toys this past week. I had a lady call out of the blue on Tuesday, the worst day ever, to show me stuff, sell me stuff. And she said, I've got some old Ninja Turtles, some vehicles and play sets, some old G.I. Joe, and some other things. Would you be interested? And I said, yes, ma'am, bring it by today. And they brought by multiple giant totes. And I literally have everything from 1990 or 1991. Whatever year the Avalanche came out, it's 100% complete. Looks like it's brand new.
Nice.
And then the Hammerhead, the two of the big giant blue battle wagon things, the General.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I was just like, uh, called my best friend and said, "Hey, I know you're off this week. Come up to the shop. I need help. We got to check this stuff out, man." And like, it's just, and then there's the Technodrome for Ninja Turtles, the sewer, the cars, the van. I mean, all of it, and it's all looks like it's brand new.
Wow.
So yeah, Jurassic Park stuff. We got some big Jurassic Park tower with the gates and the fence and the
Wow.
oh my gosh, it's like stuff. And then there's and the very highly verily I sound like Thor. The verily highly sought after American Gladiator figures.
Oh
Um,
wow!
yeah, I'm being facetious there, but they're still it's kind of cool. And then some
You don't
starting
see those
lineup
very
guys.
often.
No, you really don't. And gosh, it's like so much stuff. And like these big giant boxes, if you need to get rid of a body or something, or transport people, I've got boxes for you for that.
You
So
got a
somebody
nice
crosses
haul.
you wrong, and owe you money.
So you got a nice haul, Dan. Congratulations on that.
Holy smokes, yeah. And it's like what to keep, what to sell. I mean, because looked up the Hammerhead complete mint and package, or sorry, mint out of box, $300, and it's just like holy smokes.
There's a bunch of pieces on that hammerhead. Or wait a minute, the hammerhead. I was thinking of the
That's the
hammer.
big
Yeah,
crazy Cobra, I guess
underwater
seawater. Yeah, it's
amphibious vehicle.
oh
Yeah,
my goodness, yeah. Oh, and the Retaliator helicopter. They had that, which is an attack rescue copter,
So
which
you
that
can
must
tell
drive
when
someone like Lifeline nuts. You know,
that person or whoever they're related to came to GI Joe, because we can all like date ourselves by where our favorites and what we
yeah.
started with, and that person obviously started around 89, 90,
oh
91.
yeah,
And
yeah. They
see
had a good
those.
run of
That was some of
toys.
my favorite years.
Yeah, you and Packard both.
Hmm.
And gosh, it's so conflicting because it's like, do I sell this? Some of it I'm keeping, some of it I'm selling, some of it's already been sold. But it's just like, when are you going to come across a freaking Hammerhead, 100% complete, used that looks like it's brand new?
Right.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just like,
sure.
oh. And then she called the other day and said she had Nintendo and Nintendo games. I'm like, come on by, bring it on. And I'm hoping she finds, because she had two boys and they had like two of each figure. Not every figure, but they had a lot of doubles. And on some of the vehicles, they had doubles. And I'm hoping like we're finding, okay, you had another one of these guys. Where's it at? So I'm hoping she finds another tote, and God only knows what's in that. But yeah, it was
There's some rare stuff in that period. Keep an eye out on Stardusters. Keep an eye out on Ninja, the Cobra Ninja, I think it's called. What is that?
Yep.
Team Ninja, Cobra Ninja,
The
Creator
Ninja Viper.
Cobra. I think it's the DEF 3-pack with the black little.
Oh
Holder.
yes.
Keep an eye on that. That's some rare stuff because there are variants of figures in that DEF set.
yeah.
Of,
We're
like,
looking,
Fast
still looking through
Straw
everything.
and people. Yeah, there's some interesting rare stuff in that period. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out.
And I had another guy a few weeks back. His wife came in with some girls' toys and a really cool. I forget the dollhouse, the brand. It was like Little Tykes or something. It was whoever made like the refrigerators and stuff, the big giant, cosplay refrigerator stove units for kids. They made a
Really?
big giant dollhouse with, and I almost bought it because I thought, man, somebody very smart could probably make this a classified, whatever, and I was like, I just don't have the room for it. But the husband said he had a lot of that era of Joe's, like 93, 94, 92, mint on card, mint in box, doubles.
Some of those
I was like,
variants,
oh,
some of the variants, 93, 94 of the Battle Core are very rare because print runs were very low. So some of those ones that had repaints are hard to find. If you have them on card, make sure you get the right pricing on that stuff.
well, I'm hoping the guy comes through because this lady was out of the blue and that was great. That's the best ones. So back to modern stuff. Did anybody find out why Crystal Ball was canceled, and did you guys end up with one?
I got two
Yes.
from
I was able to
Walmart.
get one.
I got two from Walmart, and I had no problem with it. And the funny thing about that Crystal Ball was initially when they put the pre-order up, I missed it completely, and I had to go to my Walmart.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, and I had to go to my Walmart contacts and ask them, hey, is there a way to get this? And then like a few weeks later, it went back up. And somebody on Facebook said, hey, this is back up. And I went back on there and I ordered two. And I got my two.
So
when David says
my
Walmart
orders got
contacts,
canceled.
Yours got canceled? I saw that. I was like, that sucks.
when David says Walmart cancel, he means the actual Walton family. He's got them on speed dial and just gives them a ring like, yo, what's going on here? Where's my crystal ball at? And they're like, David, we're so sorry. We're working on it. Yeah, I'm hearing rumors that Walmart, and of course, I haven't experienced this, but I've heard rumors. We all know how rumors are in the toy world. That Walmart is clearing those crystal balls out because some Walmarts are for just ridiculous prices.
Let me give you some inside baseball. Remember how I mentioned that display like 6 or 7 months ago?
Yes,
that
and they look
500 stores was going to get. There was some inside baseball. Well, you're seeing it showing up now at Walmart. So they're doing it early. Those Walmarts that released it already, that was not supposed to be released till October. That was supposed to be a seasonal display. And so all that merchandise that goes on that, if it's not on that display when it's supposed to be, then the stores don't know what to do with this stuff. They're not toy fanatics. They're not toy experts like we are. So in my stores, if I see something like that, I'm like, hey, this is out early. Look at your street date and don't put this out. And they're like, oh, what are we going to do? Stick it up in the rafters. We'll pull it down in October. I communicate because I know toys. That's my expertise. And so a lot of the stores are getting the stuff that's a seasonal promotion early, and they don't know what to do with it. So they have no clue how to deal with this stuff. Instead, they don't look at the dates on the boxes. They don't look at the UPCs and scan it and said when the street dates are. They don't do any of this stuff. Oh, it's
that
in
doesn't
a box,
sound
in a store.
to me.
What are we going to do with it? It's either going to go to the shelf or it's going to go to a bin And if you can't go to either of those, it goes to clearance. And
You know,
Toys is doing a reset right now, and the entire Toys is being reset. And guess where all the old toys goes when you do a reset? Clearance.
yeah, I don't think you have to be a toy expert to know how to do your job in a retail store, though.
Well,
I
when
mean,
it comes to toys, when it
sure,
comes to toys, nobody cares about that department. Only
sure.
dedicated employees that really want to do their job right in that department. I'm one
Because
of
I
those.
can remember back when the Black Panther Wave 2 figures hit Walmart, brand new, and they put them out for $5. Because I had a lot of people cancel orders with me because they were like, I already got them. I got literally the whole set
There
for
had
what it
to have been
costs.
a reason for that. They either were a promotional thing that the time frame when was over, because you have street dates. Like I'll give you an example. Remember when that big huge Millennium Falcon came out? I think it was like 2008 or 9 or 10 or something. There was a
Yeah,
new release of Power of the Force. They were rebranding
I like when
it.
Terry's on the move. I like when
And
Terry's on the move. It's a new feature we have on the show where Terry's on the move and he's just it's almost like you're watching WWE and he's entering the arena. My God, Terry Ruin's in the house tonight. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
Well, I called 1-800 Walmart for one.
yeah, and what do they do?
They, the young lady that I spoke with, actually said that she understood the frustration with a pre-order that I made as soon as the item was released being canceled, because it's happened to her as well. And the way she explained it, Walmart's online distribution is completely separate from like store distribution.
That's correct.
So you have stores that are getting these, and like you said, if they don't have everything reset, they don't have a home to put this stuff, they don't know what to do with it. So they clearance it out. So if they do end up getting those displays are going to be empty because they don't have product to put in them.
Correct, because they didn't bother doing the due diligence and looking at
Which a lot of people are showing
and
images of
looking
that
at
right
the
now.
accuracy of when that stuff was supposed to be put out on sales floor.
Mm-hmm.
So I call it a series of unfortunate events is what this is.
Well, it just goes back to show that Walmart is absolutely abysmal at handling any of their exclusives.
I agree with you 100%, because when they were doing those vintage package ones and they were getting them from stores. Now, see, this is where things get a little bit shaky here. They were doing those packages and they were the in-store pickers before it became its own entity. The picking, we call ODP, online product distribution or whatever. And before that happened, we just had in-store picking, and they would take stuff from the store and they would bring it to the thing. So it was just random employees, people that have no idea what toys are or what their value are, collectability or whatever. They were just picking.
So
stuff.
that's where you ended up with the folded and crushed cards being crammed in a box that was half the size of the package, or thrown into a plastic bag with a label stuck on it and getting it shipped out to your house.
Exactly. So they changed that. Kurt Buck, the guy I told you is the Hasbro buyer for Walmart, told me they're fully aware of it. The company has adjusted, and now there's an icon on collectible items. And in order to be a collectible item, it has to be through the Walmart CollectorCon or electronics collectible section. And it'll show up on there, handle with care now. And he showed me on that.
So
Well, that really should
funny
be
enough,
just for anything in general. I mean, if you're buying a box of mac and cheese, that should
exactly.
be
I don't want to get a box of mac and cheese that's crushed and half of it falling out.
It
seems to be that anything that you buy should be treated with at least minimal amount of care to keep it looking like it came off a store shelf. Dude, some of the retro carded figures that I got when all that started, some of those were just completely destroyed. And when I say that, I mean like the bubbles ripped off the packaging, the cards ripped or crushed. I mean, it was that bad.
Mine weren't that bad, but they were definitely bent and a little bit dinged up and stuff like that. And
I mean, if it was anything else that I had ordered, I would have been the same level of disappointed if it had been, a can of coffee or anything. If I received it and it was beat up like that.
But I will say though, they have done a lot better job with the Night Force branded items. 99% of those I've gotten through Walmart Collector Con. They've all come pretty good. Now my 2 crystal balls are here. I was going to say something else, but that wasn't appropriate. But my 2 crystal balls are here, and they arrived perfectly fine. And I have my Beachhead and my Quick Kick 2-packs on the way. And
Mine
so,
just got delivered.
oh, so you got yours? Okay, well that's good.
I think mine
I don't
comes
have them in
tomorrow.
hand. I'm not home, but they just got there. So
So I'm hoping mine will be here this week sometime. Then if you got yours already, so communication is everything. That I knew that our community was having issues with these type of situations. So I had an opportunity myself to speak to the buyers, speak to Hasbro's Walmart buyer, Kurt Bacchus, get information, give them information, and communicate and try to help the community. That's something I can do in my capacity on my channel. People were speculating about that display and saying all kinds. I'm like, no, that's not true. Talk to people that know about it, and then you can get the right information out to the folks. And I'll be the first person to admit I've put out wrong information accidentally, not intentionally. But I think if you want to know something, try to get people that know and get the right information out. And so if you want to know about that display, it's October release display, 500 stores in domestic US, not Canada and not other countries. And it's supposed to have Star Wars Black, Transformers, G.I. Joe Classified, and Marvel Legends exclusive items for Walmart that will not be in any other place. Won't be at Target, won't be at GameStop.
yes, but the
Maybe I'll
problem
go.
with all of that, David, is the fact that these stores are getting that product. The ones that aren't setting up the display until October when they do their reset, they're getting the product for it now. They're clearancing it out, and that display is going to be empty and it's not going to be replenished.
You know what they're going to end up doing? Because I know a store that did this in my area. I have 2 stores that have the display. They filled it with Hasbro games.
Yeah.
So if there's something out on the floor and it's empty, Walmart would be like, fill it. They don't care what you fill it with. But now here's another added piece to this. There's going to be, they took it away. We had these reps, Hasbro reps, because Spin Master, Lego, Mattel all had reps. And they reduced Lego, reduced Spin Master, but Mattel's had one all this time. Hasbro did away with theirs. They're bringing them back now. If you go on their job thing, they're listing for jobs, there's tons of these reps. And so maybe that rep will be able to be the middle person between the store and the Hasbro and try to get this product taken care of better. So that's a plus for collectors like us and someone you can communicate with, at least at store level, that cares about the product and the company Hasbro, and not the employees that could give a rat's butt. Unless you find someone like myself that's a dedicated toy collector that does.
Dude, I honestly make a point to avoid going inside that store if at all possible. But
Well, I think
regardless,
Walmart traditionally has had an issue with not everybody, but some of the people that work there aren't maybe the best quality, or they just don't care. And it's one of those things that, regardless if it's toys, a can of coffee, a bicycle, or a T-shirt, it doesn't matter. It's product that people are buying. It should be treated with respect and not destroyed, not shipped like it lost a fight with Brock Lesnar or Rampage Jackson's kid. You know, and I don't know, that it's just, somebody told me that one of the Walmarts in our area that has those displays, it's filled with He-Man figures now. And it's like,
But technically,
and it's like,
that's,
I don't think
that's
you
a
have to be a
violation.
rocket scientist to like,
That's a violation. They cannot
you know,
do that technically. There are rules to merchandising with companies. Hasbro paid for that display.
And who's going to stop them,
500
David?
stores. They cannot put Mattel. If I was in that store, I'd be like, you cannot. Look at your contract. Talk to your buyer. They'd be appalled if you put Mattel product on that.
Who's
That
going
goes
to
show you,
enforce it, though?
uh,
There's nobody to enforce it. They can put whatever they want in it.
I mean, I think the collector thing is a great idea. I think they look nice, and I can just see like some folks buying those at the end of the run and being on sale at the toy mall, you know,
I'm
for
a
a
little bit
ridiculous amount of money.
amazed that Walmart has Masters of the Universe because they haven't had that in 2 or 3 years.
They'll buy them at the
Well,
they'll
none
buy
of
them out of the clearance aisle for half off, and then go stick it in the toy mall for
That's
3 times
probably
retail.
what's on that display. I bet.
well, and there's no GI Joe on in any of our WalMarts. They don't even have tags for it anymore.
Mine
That's been a-
doesn't. Mine
That's been a
doesn't
thing
have
for a
anything.
while. I mean, you know, but
It's because they made this display. That's where all that collector stuff is supposed to go, but they're not putting it out properly.
sure.
Right.
So let's get on to some more positive news. Finally, they Tony Kalia from Hasbro brand team released the Pythona. Man, is she
Yes.
stacked. Woo,
Looks
she
very
looks-
cool.
And they took a lot of care. If you look at that render, she has the hood and it comes to a point. Remember when she's going through the swamp and she's got that point at the top, and then they have the cape where it gets ripped and it goes through the doors and you see the holes and the shred. They've done that in the cape. So they spent a lot of money to get that cape to do characteristics from that cartoon, that film. And that shows that they are putting some money and time and effort into these figures. I've got to say, they are really doing a good job.
I agree, man. They really are doing a good job with some of the new stuff that they're coming out with. It's not that they were doing a bad job necessarily with most of what they did before, but I think that G.I. Joe Classified is really starting to find its footing.
Oh,
Yep.
wait, yeah. I agree.
100% agree.
I agree with you. In my series, classified review, I'm getting to a point where there's a level ground of where you can see with quality and stuff, and they have definitely stepped that ground up twice at least, because we're almost to 200 figures if you include the vintage package and all the 60th and Legacy and Fortnite and all the odds and ends. They're up to 200 figures or something, and you can tell where the budgets are coming in, where their budgets coming up higher and higher, because what they're doing, what they're including, what their the cloth parts, all the different things that they're making. Oh yeah.
We also haven't been getting the super bad warped bent up weapons anymore.
See, there's another thing where probably year 3, year 2.5 is where that really hit home, where they were like, okay, we've heard you, we've heard enough people, all right, we're changing this, and that came through, and now we're getting much better quality on that accessory stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it all is. It's communication. It's not bitching and moaning and yelling at your people on your YouTube channel. Nothing against Action Media, because I like that. It makes me laugh when he yells. But
I like being an old man yelling at my TV, though.
I know, but you're doing it with a little bit of tongue in cheek. It's different. It's different. But I think if we communicate to Hasbro in a respectful manner and say this is a concern, they will answer it and they will give us a respectful response. And certain things, obviously, they're not doing it with the police officer. They're completely
Hey,
silent.
the police officer is still coming out.
It is coming out. I think it's just going to drop on Pulse and wherever it's supposed to be one day, and you'll get a notification the day before. Hey, this is dropping. If you want it, go get it.
And I'm fine with that.
I am too.
I'll
I'm gonna be
end up
like
getting
3 or
it from
4.
I'll end up getting it from my distributor, and I'll get 6 cases of it probably.
Well, I'm gonna get through. That's one of the few that I want a lot of. So I'm gonna get probably 4 of those. I've pared mine down to 2 of each, and now I was getting 3 and 4 of each. But I'm gonna get 4
Right.
of that police officer because that's one that is something that's gonna be a rare thing. I
I
bet it
think
sells
that
out. Mark my words now. This is a Toy Talk exclusive. Super Dave 817 says the police officer is gonna sell out.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
it will, yeah.
the whole thing with the police officer is ridiculous, but just release it like it's supposed to be. You
Everybody
know,
loves hype, baby.
I guess. But I think there's when you talk about Hasbro listening, I think there's 2 different Hasbros you need to clarify. There's the brand team, which I totally agree. I think are listening, and I think they're doing some good stuff.
But they
And then
can
there's
only do so
Hasbro,
much. They
and then
they
there's
only have so
yeah,
much
but
power.
and then
There's
there's
other people.
Hasbro. Then there's the Hasbro bosses that begrudgingly approve this stuff because for some reason they can't get out of their own way. The fact that we're getting out of toys, but we're going to hire toy reps. We're going to get out of toys and do video games only,
You're right.
but we're
There
going
is
to renew Marvel and DC or Marvel
right.
and Disney.
You're right.
You
There
know,
is definitely a mixed communication
but
from Hasbro corporate. There is a
I
back
agree
and
with
forth.
I agree with what you're saying in regards to the brand team because I think they take all that to heart, and I think they're doing some really. I think their leadership could be a little bit better, but
See,
I
Dan,
think that
that's
the
thing.
quality of the product is excellent, and I'm glad that Hasbro is letting them. I'm glad that Hasbro is getting out of their way so they can make money for Hasbro
But see,
because that's been the big problem.
Dan, you hit it exactly right on the head. Exactly what I was saying earlier. We as buyers, merchants, whatever you want,
Consumers.
consumers, if we want to communicate, we have to do it in the right way. If you had a problem with a TV show, or if you had a problem with a product back in the day, you would write a letter, and if they got enough letters, they would change the product or change the show or whatever it is. We have a much easier path to that communication. Look at how I communicate with Hasbro. I talk to the buyer. I talk to the Hasbro buyer for Walmart. I have that ability. Not everybody does, but you can send an email. You can write a letter, whatever it is.
You
When
can get
go
on
and get a
Instagram.
product replace that's damaged, you can get that product back. Patrick Stewart talks about this all the time, where he goes and he gets stuff from Hasbro Pulse fixed, and they send them apart in the mail. And I know you've talked about it too, Terry. So that's
Sir
how we
Patrick
need to
Stewart?
handle this.
Talking about Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart.
No,
That's pretty awesome if he's in the GI Joe Classified. That's awesome.
He's one of the co-hosts on the Full Force.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I no, yeah, I think that you always get what does it get more flies with honey or whatever than with vinegar. But I mean, I think like if you're a consumer, you have a right to feel the way you feel. Because Hasbro corporate, I'll say, not the brand team, the corporate could care less about your feels or mine. If they could, they'd get rid of the GI Joe brand in a heartbeat. That's the sad thing. But the brand team has done such a good job with the designs and the figures and just the quality that it's just the brand itself sells that they have
God,
no
I
choice
hope
but to
not.
put it out.
I hope
You
they
know,
don't do this.
can I
Gen
answer
X is
this?
almost as selfish as boomers.
Can I answer this question, Terry?
No.
You don't want me to answer that question because I have a logical response to that question.
What was the question? I couldn't see.
He says he hopes they hire Gen X instead of Gen Z because Gen Z and millennials don't give a rat's butt. I don't think Gen X cares that much more. You got to find a person that cares about the product. So this is my resolution. I've talked to several of the buyers. I not only talk to the toy buyers, I talk to the electronic buyers, the grocery buyers, all my departments at my store. I talk to those buyers. So if you have individuals, and I know this is going to be a little tricky, that care about a department or an area that they're working in, hire those people that are qualified or knowledgeable in that area. Then you will get better customer service, better answers, better communication, and better handling of the product, in my opinion. So I talked to the buyers, and they're like, David, you know more about toys than we do. Hasbro should hire you. I said, well, that would be great. I would love them to hire me because I care about this and I want the product to be successful. I want Hasbro to be successful. I want Walmart to be successful. And I want the customers to be successful. So there's very few people that want all those things. So we need more of me. But for every department,
I agree. There should be people that's interested in what they're doing. That's not just toys. That goes with any
yes,
Agreed.
job. If the people performing that task don't care about it in some capacity, they're not as likely to put forth
Sadly,
efforts.
Sadly, we're starting to see the benefits, and I say benefits facetiously, of the everybody gets a participation trophy generation. That there's no effort put forth because you don't need to. You show up, you win. And it's like,
Right.
That's not the way it works. That's not the way the world is. If you don't hunt, you don't eat. If you don't produce, you don't have a roof over your head. You have to put in an effort. And the old adage, whether you're digging a ditch or you're a doctor, do your best job possible.
exactly.
Right.
And it's like, well, I see a lot of it. That's because, on our end, it's been horrible to try to hire people. And people
Yeah.
come in, they want to make $35 an hour and me pay their retirement. I'm like, bro, we're a comic and toy store or not GE. It's
Funny
like,
that you say that. Someone wants to hire me to be manager of their business because of my knowledge and my go-gettingness and my hard work and stuff, the efforts that I put in and stuff like that. And it's been a decision. That's one of the things that's been going on right now with the whole thing with my personal issue with my family, my work. This decision's been weighing very heavily on my head because I would have to relocate and I would have to do a lot of stuff with my partner, my life partner, to make that choice. And that is a choice. I know I would be successful at it, but in order to make that choice, I would have to do a lot. And so your quality shows when you help a customer at any business that you're in. Your business, Terry's, your business, my business. We're all in different types of businesses. If you show you haven't given effort and you want them to get what they're trying to get, or give them the service they're trying to get, or take care of the problem that they're trying to take care of, and they see that, that's a reciprocal situation. They'll be like, thank you, David. You did a great job. You went out of your way. You helped us. We appreciate that. That's where this situation comes in right there.
Right.
Because why would you want to go into any kind of work and not do your best work and show who your consumer, your boss, your other coworkers that you're trying your best? And I don't like using trying, but that's the apropos word.
I think
Well,
it's
if
a
you're putting forth
generational
your
thing.
best effort.
Because
Yes.
everybody I know from Gen X, not everybody, but most people in our generation, they do that. Whereas some of these other generations, they just don't. They just don't care because they're.
And
They-
the thing about
the-
that, Dan, I see people from Gen X, and I see people from the millennial generation, and I see people from Gen Z who all put forth their best effort.
Now,
Who
Gen
really
Z
do
is
care
what
about
the
what
high
they do.
school, the right out of high school right now group.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Like they're kind of a turnaround. It's almost kind of like the baby boomers and Gen X. How like baby boomers are a certain way and Gen X is totally different. And I
Yeah.
think the millennials are a certain way, and then like Gen Z, because like they're starting to more traditional family values, waiting to get married. Try to maybe not go to college, but get a trade job where they're going to make 80 grand a year and not be in debt. So there's a lot of that. So I should retract a little bit of what I said. I think it like we skip a generation or whatnot,
Yeah.
because I'm starting to see that come through, and I've seen that like in the service industry. I have a couple experiences. We went to a certain place, and it was the first time I ever gone there, and the guy that took care of us did a great job, and he got tipped really well. you get a $50 tip. And most of what I had was comped, because of a friendship. And
Is
the
this
next
show
time I
changing?
went, what's that?
Is this show changing to a different kind of show now, Terry?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's party time.
Hey, you want to highlight this guy's comment about the snowcat, because this is an interesting situation here that maybe this guy doesn't realize. So the snowcat program, yes, the snowcat program, maybe it came off as not very professional when we were going through the HasLab situation. They also had the Cold Slither program, and then we had the Star Wars program. So Hasbro was concurrently working on 3 programs, and because the Cold Slither was gonna actually be released at San Diego Comic-Con, I believe that's why a lot of their efforts and their energy went into that program, and it maybe took away from the Snowcat program a little bit. So there's layers to this, and you have to see the big picture on this. So communicate again, ask questions.
So the big picture for the Snowcat, in my opinion, yes, the Dragonfly and Rattler both had more backing, and I believe the His Tank had more backing than both of those. But was it a bad decision considering the fact that it backed all tiers?
No, I don't think it was a bad decision, because they did that poll that whatever group, I wish I could get involved in that group. I would love to be on that thing. There are people in the community that were involved in that, but it obviously was something people wanted. So they weren't wrong, and the tiers all funded. Maybe the FOMO kicked in towards the end, because people were like, wait a minute, this thing's going to be like $1 million next year when it comes out because I didn't back it. And so I think that had a little to do with it. But what was it, 1680, I think, funded 16.
Yeah, so I mean, apparently that many people cared about it.
Yeah.
I backed it because I'm a completionist and I don't want to miss anything in the classified line.
Same here.
But one of the things that I see a lot of call for from the dissidents is fire that team. But there's never a suggestion of anyone to replace that team. There's never a suggestion of what the team needs to do, quote unquote, correctly. It's all isolated to, this is what I want, and they're not doing what I want as an individual. That's all it comes down to.
But that's the problem. It's not an individual thing. There's four teams at Hasbro that work on G.I. Joe. There's promotional, there's packaging, production, and distribution. 4 teams. So if you're saying fire that team, you're saying
Which
fire
team?
like 100 people.
Which team and what would you do better? I always see the complaints, but I never see suggestions as to what could be done better, or as to someone they have in mind, a team from another brand that could do a better job with G.I. Joe. Never any suggestions for improvement, only fire that team.
We've seen G.I. Joe for 60 years. It has changed for 60 years. There are different teams every so many years. Trust me, if Hasbro thought this team was not doing what they needed to do for the customers,
they would fire them.
They would swap them out. Like Corey Cantaloupe got swapped out. Like the guy on Mask got swapped out. Not to belittle those swap outs.
No, but I mean,
that's what they do.
Well, I think too.
Guys,
I think too.
I don't mean to cut this short, but I'm gonna let Dan get that last thought in there, and I have the pool and more beers calling my name. So,
I think some of it is. I think the marketing part could be done better, and I have expressed ideas on how I think that should be done. But they can only do what Hasbro will allow them to do. That's the big problem. It's kind of like when Vince McMahon ran the WWE, and if you're on the creative staff, you would start out with a full set of hair like me and end up like Terry, because you would pull your hair out because Vince would drive you crazy because we're working on the David character for 6 months, and tonight's his big night to shine, and Vince squashes the whole program 30 minutes before you go on. So you can
Right.
only do what you're allowed to do. So I think to me, my frustration is pointed at Hasbro corporate, not necessarily the brand team. There are some elements in the brand team that I think they could do better. And like I said, I've expressed that in the past, but at the same time, I'm happy with the product, however, which way it comes out, I guess. To me, my biggest concern is there's no rhyme or reason to it. It just, we get this, we get that. It's cool. It looks great. I expect it to look cool and great because it's a high standard, but I mean, I think people have a right to express their opinion, whether it be
Absolutely.
politely or crudely or whatnot. It's just the way it is, But Hasbro it's not the Hasbro that we grew up with. The Hassenfeld family, I think, actually cared about toys, cared about kids, because there's no kids involved in Hasbro right now. They aren't targeting kids. Giving them 12-inch shampoo bottles, like, here you go, Johnny, here's your Captain America shampoo bottle. That's not going to inspire a kid. Action figures that pose, you can collect, play with. They can fight Luke Skywalker and Cobra
Right.
Commander.
The target demographic for that stuff is us.
Yeah, and I think that needs to change. I think you can do both.
Here's something real quick, Terry. I want to get this in. I've been wanting to tell you guys for a couple weeks. I follow the gentleman that was in charge of the Matty Collector branding, and he said that there's a report that comes out every year about the demographics to toys. And so the action figure demographic has now changed to 48% adult, and it used to be kids. 48% adult demographic is now the demographic for action figures.
Right. Yeah, 48%. I mean, that's quite a jump.
Yep. Used to be 16 to 20, and now it's...
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next Sunday.
Happy Labor Day, everybody.
Take care. Thank you.
Happy Labor Day. Later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.